Can you hear the thunder?
No,
Okay.
I can't.
So this is Lizet Benrey, correct?
Yes, correct.
That's fantastic. Yay. Okay, so
Yes.
oh, here you are. Can you hear the let me get this off of here.
Okay.
And I'll do the gallery. Here she is.
Okay.
Beautiful Lizet. Let me go. It's a whole process, but I just love the whole concept of the YouTube live.
Yes.
So that's
So
why it took a little longer than expected. We just got hit with a bad storm. So if you hear some cracks or me talking like I'm talking into a speaker, it's because it's very loud
okay,
out there.
sounds
But
good.
welcome, Lizet. Thank you so much for coming on the show.
Thank you, Dina, for having me. Thank
I
you.
just love it. I just love it. I met you through just recently. I met Tom Mulligan, and he got us in contact, and then here we are.
I know, that was great. Thank
It's
you.
just
Very smooth.
fantastic. I bought
Yes.
this light. You see how it's making circles around my eye, the glasses? Look, I look like I'll put it down this
It's
way.
a beauty light, right?
Beauty light. Look at me. I look like a monster. What
You
does
look wonderful, Dina.
stop
You look
being
beautiful, and I
glasses.
love your glasses. I love them.
Oh, Lizet, this is all about you. And I got a chance to read some of your bio, and wow, talk about being busy. You have, first I'll try to start. You're from Mexico originally.
Yes, born and raised.
You were a fine artist in Mexico.
Yes.
And I saw your work.
Yes.
Wow.
Thank you. Thank you, Dina. Yes, I was born and raised in Mexico City.
Yeah.
My mom was a very amazing, well-known artist.
Yeah.
So I was painting with her since I was a little girl.
Wow.
But then I always wanted to get into acting. So I was an actress for a while in Mexico, and I was doing really well. And then anyways, but
what year was that? When did you start acting in Mexico?
I was well, I started acting in probably middle school, doing Greek tragedies. I was in a British school. And so we started doing that. Actually, it was, do you know Gabriel Garcia Marquez by any chance, the writer? Well, okay.
No, but look, I'm not, versed in, I love Mexico. I have a wonderful slew of Mexican friends, but I'm not super versed in,
in Mexican culture.
Yeah.
Right? Yeah, so I started doing Greek tragedy, and that's where I thought, my gosh, this is wonderful. And then I went into Televisa, that was TV network station.
Yeah.
And I was doing commercials and TV shows and all kinds of things, and theater, of course. And then, and then that's when I started.
Mexico is rich in film and novellas, and just rich with talent. I mean, painting and the acting side. Samuel Hyatt. I mean, just
yes. Actually, I went to the same school she did.
Yeah. Yeah. My good friend Andreas Garcia Jr. is a good friend of mine.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, I met him. There's a rich culture of Mexicans in South Beach, and I lived in South Beach for 20 years.
Right.
So I met a whole slew of just wonderful people in there, and I went to Mexico and.
Yes, and of course painters. There's fabulous artists there.
Wow.
Yeah, I mean, it's just such a rich culture. It's amazing. I love
rich culture, Mexico.
Yeah.
Mexico. I mean, but your work was phenomenal. I saw your website, and honest to goodness, I mean, I loved your work. What was a couple of the was that yours? Horizon, Fragment, Passage, that whole.
Yes.
Honey.
Yes.
And mixed media on paper and the oil paint. Wow.
Yeah, I do everything, but those mostly they're from an art show. Well, an art show that I had in New York, actually, New York City.
Wow.
And they are litho ink. So I work them as like etchings where I do
Neat.
plates and then paint on them, and I just go through a lot of layers. They have so many layers, those
You
paints.
could tell
Yeah.
rich with layers. I mean, I just love them all. I was scrolling down. I was like, oh my God, oh my God. I mean, one after the other, just
Thank
super amazing. So I read in the article from this magazine that, what was the name of the magazine? Hold on one second, honey, I'll find it. But it said this, you started with your art and then you're so talented. And I guess you were so curious to move forward in your art that you started mixing, I think it was dancing and music and things like that into your art. And that's how you came into the film.
Yeah. Well, when I was
Authority magazine. It was Authority
Authority
magazine.
magazine.
Yeah.
Yes, the most recent one. Yeah. Um, I was painting for a long, long time. I was raising my children and I was painting full time, showing. We traveled all over with the work. And it was my dialogue with only my family and my art. And that's all. Like, honestly, I was almost in isolation for many years, just doing my work. And then one day, they grew up, they started going to high school. And I said, I don't have to be in the studio all day long. And I
You
always
have
wanted,
children that are past high school?
yes,
I'm
I do.
shocked. Okay, go ahead. So,
and and I felt like I needed more dialogue, and so I started putting words on my paintings, and they didn't
wow.
really work. I did a lot of, I did a lot of experimentation with the art, but
Sure.
then I said, really, what I want to do is have them move and just
Mhm.
make them move. So I started taking the camera and filming stuff and making art films and art videos, and
Wow.
very visually oriented, hardly any dialogue, because that's where I was. And then the actress started to come out. Well, what about me? When am I gonna come out?
Oh,
Like I
wow.
love the acting because it's another, for me, it's like another brush, to be honest. It's not separate from anything that I do. It's just another way of expressing the
Sure.
same thing. And I started getting back into acting little by little, very little by little, because I was very timid at that time. I wasn't in front of the camera much.
Yeah, but you've been super busy for the past couple of years. And
Yes,
you're not only an actress, but you're a writer as well.
yes. I co-wrote screenplays with a very known director for a long time,
Wow.
and I have 3 versions.
American director or a Mexican?
Mexican director, Mexican director,
Fabulous. Yeah.
and I have 3 versions of a screenplay that we never produced.
Mm.
But it's based on my mom. It's my mom's story, basically,
Oh,
and the
wow.
fabulous rich story of this woman that I totally adore and admire every day of my life. And she's been
Wow.
gone, and she's still around.
Well, I
And
checked out her work too. Amazing.
amazing, amazing.
I
And
was
she's got
so,
an amazing story. So I have a screenplay that I'm planning to use one way or another, maybe not as a big production, especially now with what's happening with the
yeah.
industry and all. I don't have big expectations, but I do have many ideas of what I can do with it, because I finally want it to come out. Like I want this to come out.
Mm.
It's just
How
such a
about in play form? Any way you consider making it as a play instead of a film?
I haven't considered it. I mean, it could be something very good idea,
Mm.
actually.
Mm.
But her world was so visual and
Wow.
so artistic that I would hate to miss on that,
Right.
you know?
Wow.
And I mean, we had such a close relationship. I lived with her for 22 years, and
Huh.
she was my whole entire world. So
Oh,
our
that's amazing.
relationship is fantastic. It's so layered and so intense and so wonderful in so many ways that I think would make something
And is
really.
she still painting? Is she still active in?
My mom passed away many
I'm
years
so
ago.
sorry. Oh, I'm so sorry. Yeah, I'm
Yes.
so sorry.
But she was painting till the last moment.
Wow.
Actually, it's very touching. When she was passing away, I was drawing next to her.
Oh, my God.
Yeah, because
Beautiful.
that's the last thing we did together. I mean,
Oh,
she
that's beautiful.
her last
Oh,
day.
so sweet. That's so sweet.
Yes.
You just see your face is just so full of love and admiration when you talk about her. And
I, Yeah, she's just incredible. I mean, if you can imagine from Mexico City,
Mm.
this woman that nobody would get divorced in Mexico, nobody would do anything. Women were staying at home, and she was like the how do you say it, predecessor or
Yeah.
of so many things in
Wow.
Mexico, and such an example to many women. So
Wow. Well, my
yeah,
grandmother got divorced when it was unheard of, as
yes,
well.
yes,
So
unheard
I
of.
know that that type of woman, and I love that type of that type of person. It's
Yeah,
it's particularly at that time. It was an incredibly rare and incredibly brave to.
incredible. And I think she's a predecessor of this generation that now our kids' generation, the next one, not even mine, but the one after.
Oh wow.
They feel so liberated now. Women are just blossoming and coming out like,
Fingers
incredible.
crossed.
Right, right. But I always, whenever I listen to them, and I just feel that my mom was part of this incredible movement, because
Wow.
it wasn't easy. It
Oh no,
wasn't easy
no,
for
no,
her.
no. I watched the series recently, Mrs. America on Hulu. It was very good.
Is it?
Yeah, it wasn't. I mean, the women really didn't get the true. It never got voted on completely to like 1983 that women could vote and such and all these things. It was.
Wow.
It
I
never
need to,
was completely passed in the 70s. It was. We're
yeah.
still fighting, and in the film industry, we're still fighting the good fight. It's only like 1% of women actually work in Hollywood. Only one woman has ever won in the in American Academy Award. Only one woman
Yes,
has ever won for director.
yes.
Yeah.
Her name, please remind me.
Catherine Bigelow
Bigelow.
for
Yes,
a war film.
yes. That's
So
right. It's,
yes,
yeah.
we're
It's
still.
exciting to see what we're going to create as women too. We have this.
Yeah. Well, I go to not all girls school, but predominantly it was an all girls. I'm doing my master's degree now. I went back to school late, I'll be 60 next year. So the content, the content that the girls are putting out, it's
Exciting.
so I saw on your IMDb, you've worked on like 8 films in like the last like 3 years, 4 years. It's a lot. It's a lot of
Yeah.
work.
A lot of work, and I had so many coming up. It was like this train that just passed by, and I had so many coming up, but this has slowed it a little bit.
The COVID.
Yes, well, yeah, a
I'm
lot.
so sorry. Yeah, I mean it's.
And some of them are shooting, some of them, in the independent film industry, and
They are.
I had to say no to quite a few
Yeah.
because my dad is in his 80s, and I'm with him all the time. This whole thing.
Yeah, me as well. Yeah, my mom's has cancer right now, and she's in her 80s. And I was gonna go. I was supposed to go to Big Bear and shoot, and I'm like, no, that can wait.
Yeah. I think that if we wait, I mean, some projects I've lost, and I know that they're going to go ahead without me, and it hurts my heart. But I know that if the ones that are waiting, we're doing a lot too. It's not like we're just sitting down and not growing as artists, actors. And
Yeah.
this is just, I feel that this has been an opportunity to go back to the silence that I knew so well and see what I can do to bring out when the time is right, and just be this actress that I would not have been if I hadn't had this time to be alone. So that's how I'm seeing it.
Well, we have to stay healthy to get out of this, but to be positive and to find in there, the grace to think that I can develop deeper by all this is really fantastic.
Yes.
Really fantastic, because a lot of people are going to come out, on the other side, really worried and.
Well, yes, of course.
So I really commend you for, and
yes, Dina, but see, I've had the training of the painter.
Yeah, I was just gonna say, yeah.
And the painters, our only dialogue is with color and shapes and the brush. It becomes our best friend. So for me, it really hasn't been this hard. It's very painful. It's very sad
Yeah,
to see what's happening.
yeah,
It's horrible. But my artist has said, okay, just remember who you are and what you can do. And I'm just hoping that we get out of this and then I can bring more. Yeah.
yeah. I mean, let's face it, things are different, but as a writer, and you said, let's see what I can bring out of this. Your work is going to be so much richer for it. You know, the stories to tell, and the emotion, and the and the heartache that everybody's going to get out of this COVID-19. I mean, I not only the paintings, but the writings and the scripts. I'm really waiting to see what kind of work is going to come out, from like you as an artist, me as an artist being locked up for the last 3 months, 4 months, 5 months,
Yes. I don't think we would ever create what we're creating and what we'll create if this hadn't happened. And I've taken some online classes with wonderful instructors,
Yeah.
Meissner techniques,
Wow. Yeah.
and I just feel like I'm just having breakthroughs even through
Oh, it's
this little
fantastic.
screen, because the emotions, like you say,
Yeah.
and the layers of all the things that we're living that we would have never lived otherwise are incredibly powerful as well. So,
Oh yeah, the painful reality of watching the count go up and
can't go up. The little that we know, the powerless, that feeling of being absolutely powerless in a
yes.
situation that's just happening. It's almost, I always have images of like this ocean, this huge wave that just comes towards you, and you have like no power but to just stand still and stand
Wow.
still.
So
Yeah.
what is the Meissner technique?
So the Meissner technique is, it's a training that I've been doing for a few years now, and it's moment to moment. So we do a lot of repetition of words
Mm.
and a lot of improvisation, and we do scene study. But I mean, there's so much to say about it, but if I could like describe it in a few words, it would be, you don't plan anything, you memorize your lines and then you forget them, and you go into the moment and see what the other one has to bring, and then you react to that as an actor. So you're reacting to the other actor, and when you're in your monologue, you're also reacting to the other actor, because even if it's invisible, it's still there. You're talking to someone, it's your audience, right? So
Yeah, of course. And that's the
so
deal as a real actor.
that's, yeah,
Is
exactly.
the other person in the room, not us. And it's not even about the line anymore. It's about how do we feel about what the other person says and how do
Exactly.
we react to that.
Exactly. The lines are just a guide, I think. And then it's what's not been said. It's everything that happens in between the lines that's the most powerful.
Wow.
And I think that, and I've been seeing this now in series, because I didn't have the time to get hooked in any series. And now I'm watching a few, of course.
What are you watching?
Well, I just finished watching one from Spain, Unauthorized Living. It's about the mafia. It's very, well, I don't want to say it, but it's very the Latin way of acting, in a way that I was trained in Mexico. Very different to this American training that I'm having. It's a little more
Oh yeah,
emotional.
I love the novellas and everything. And
Yeah. I mean, it's really well done, actually. You get hooked into these emotions. You just do, and
yeah.
but it is a lot about the moments that where nothing is being said. It's the in between. It's just amazing to see when they're thinking. And I think that we as audience want to see that we want to see what people are thinking. We want to see what's inside more than what's been said. So that again goes a lot with your inner world and your silence and what happens in your own world while someone's talking to you. Because yes, you listen, but you're also in a way in your world. And Meissner invented this technique because he says that actors do not listen. They're very self-centered and they don't listen. And so it's really the listening that's so important, and that takes you to your inner world, and then you react, kind of thing.
It is the listening. And it's like, I have to listen? You mean I just don't wait till this other person go, wah, 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 and say my line? No.
No, no,
So
no.
far from,
So far from acting. That's
yeah.
just repeating lines, right?
Yeah, it's really incredible to really dig deep about really what is the role of an actor. You know, it's just amazing.
It's amazing. It's so complete when you bring your artist into your character and you're creating this whole persona that of course has to do with you and how you would react in a certain situation, you as a person. But then you bring this other layer of creating this character that you would have never really feel otherwise, you know. And you can't really judge it. You just have to be that person. And how would you react under those imaginary circumstances, you know? And
Yes,
you
fabulous.
just feel like you understand humanity more and more and more every day, because you become all these different people every day. And it just makes you a better person, I think.
Yeah, and to really get emotionally attached to somebody that you're talking to, and none of it's reality. It's all,
Right.
you know, it's all a script, but yet you're like,
It feels so real.
wow. I started taking this acting workshop, Lee Garlington. She's amazing. I don't know if you know Lee Garlington, but she's a pioneer actress. She's had this workshop in LA for like 35 years, 40 years. And it's all these amazing actors. It's up on right off of Hollywood Boulevard and Vine in the church up there. And
Yes.
I went every day for a year last year.
Oh, wow.
And I just couldn't get over how acting was completely different than what, you know, and I've done it for years, you know what I mean?
Yes, Dina.
But the workshops and, you know, have people, nobody stands up, everybody's in the chair, you know. So you read, you get an hour to rehearse somebody's script, and then we go out and we read them.
Yes.
And when I tell you how much the scripts that I got, that I saw these people cry and they were looking in my eyes, and I was like completely choked up about this piece that was not even reality. That's what, I don't know if I'm making any sense.
Oh, you're making total.
How deep I could feel over something that was, you know, words that came off a piece of paper. I said, oh my God, I think I might actually have a chance to be an actress.
Well, absolutely. If you feel like that, of course, because that's what it is. It's your imagination taking over, right?
Yeah,
So
you have to have a wonderful imagination to be an actor. That's it.
you have to.
You have to.
Because if not, you're just repeating. You're just being that kind of actor.
Yeah.
But if you go into that world and you imagine you're there and how you would be, and then you make this whole world around you. You just build this world around you. It's fascinating.
Oh my God, it's so fascinating. It's better late than never. I'm so glad I got into this world. I mean, I'm just enthralled, just like you, just like when so knee deep. So how many projects did you have planned before COVID? Were you in pre-production or production for anything that you got shut down?
I wasn't. We finised The Witching Hour with Tom.
Yeah.
And we did super well with that.
Yeah,
one.
I watched the video. Yeah, it was good.
Yeah. And then
wrote that.
I'm sorry.
You wrote that as well.
Yeah, we co-wrote it and co-produced and co-starred in it. Yeah. Yes. And then I thought, you know, I really want to get into the acting fully for a little while before I produce, because it's so much work to produce.
It's a lot of work producing. It's all grunt work.
Yeah. And I was designing the poster, and we did a website. I mean, not a website, but the whole film festival thing. And
it's a lot of work.
It's a lot. So I felt like I needed to go back into the actor. And so I had, oh gosh, I would say like 3 or 4. I just heard from one yesterday that I got an email.
Right.
And we're going to talk about it. I'm not sure that I'm going to do it, depending on how they're trying to shoot. But I did shoot a film, and for the first time with a green screen in my studio right here.
Oh, good.
And that was lovely. I mean, that was
yeah.
It's a short film, but I love the script. Yes, and Eric Sasowski wrote it, and he called me and says, "You want to be the lead in my film?" And I said, "Yeah." And so that was another thing now, to create a whole character in front of a green screen. Right
Yeah.
now, you don't even have anyone to talk to.
Yeah, you're not allowed. It's crazy.
No. So it even takes you further, I think, into this process that we're talking about, creating your own world, your own persona. I wasn't reacting to anybody, and it was okay. Well, I had my reader, yes,
Yeah.
but it's not, you're not reacting to an actor. I wasn't going to really react to my reader.
Yeah, you can only have one person in the room at a time.
Yes.
Yes.
And it's my husband, so I don't react to he's not an actor in any way whatsoever.
Oh my God. It's like, this is like mind blowing. God, Game of Thrones, where there's 9,000 people in each scene. I mean, I don't even know.
Yep. Again, it goes back to imagination, right? Believing it.
Yeah.
100% that you're there, and
Yes.
no matter what's happening. Well, when we're shooting, right, as actors, and we have a camera guy and the boom and everybody in the room, and you got to do all these scenes, you have to get rid of them and bring in your own world to this. So yeah.
Yeah, it's almost better not having a room full of people. I mean, forget it.
Almost, I loved it actually. Yeah.
I'm in a writing class, and there's 11 of us what has to write a script in current COVID spec. And it's just been amazing to hear the stories that these people have come up with only one person in being able to shoot at a time. So we've actually had to develop a whole, like we write from final draft.
Yes.
But the final draft is not written like that, where only one person is in the,
no,
intercut, because you'll be putting next, each person is in a different room. Each time you'll have one line and then a new heading.
Yeah, that's right.
Yeah, they're in a different room, like,
Yeah.
So you got a 5-page script, and it's really only 5 lines because it's scene heading, scene heading, scene heading. So
yes.
We're working on Valerie Mayhew. She's an amazing writer. She's written for FX. She ghost writes with her husband. He wrote Pet Sematary.
Oh, wow, yeah.
Yeah, so we're actually developing like this new way to write scripts with final draft because of COVID.
That's right. Final draft better get on with the program, because
final draft better come up with a COVID-19, intercut, because I can't do any more scene headings.
No, I hear you totally. I totally get you. Yeah, I know. Well, people have had to do all these kinds. There's also in Netflix, I think it's called Stay Home. All these short films of people.
Yeah, I saw it.
Some are good. Some are good. It's just good to see like what ideas people can get, and.
Did you see Handmaid's Tale?
I don't know.
It's this series on Hulu.
Oh,
it's
no.
The woman that wrote the book in 1983 or 85, and they finally made a 3-season series out of it.
Yes. So good.
Oh, if you have a time to burn a weekend up with a series, Handmaid's Tale.
I will watch it.
Atwood, this woman, Atwood, this writer.
Yes.
Watch it. Get back to me. Tell me what you think.
I will, Dina.
Yeah.
It's so fascinating. I see you glowing as you talk, and it's just such a fascinating world.
It's such a fascinaning world. I feel like I'm so grateful. I feel like the lucky one. It's just such a happy life.
Yeah.
Being creative. Being able to be creative.
And it doesn't matter how you do it. I've done everything. My gosh, I was a photographer and jewelry design since I was born.
Yeah.
And I feel the same passion for everything that I do. So I'm not worried, which is actually really good and bad, I guess. But I'm not worried about becoming this famous actor and I'm just walking with the art of doing it. And I don't have that angst. And I'm not in that rush to be famous and known, and I'm not. And so it gives me, I think, more pleasure to do it because I do it out of my heart and just I couldn't do anything else.
Well, we don't have to fall into the trap that you have to be a part of Hollywood to be in Hollywood and be successful. Because you are successful. I mean, you're living in LA, you're doing the deal. You're a writer, producer, actress, artist, living in LA,
I don't live in LA. That's the only one. I live in San Diego.
Oh, you
but
live in San Diego.
Because my family's in San Diego, but I go to LA
Even
all the time.
better. Yeah.
It doesn't even, I
didn't mean exactly. I meant you don't even have to live. You can live in Minnesota.
Nowadays, yeah, right.
And still be, yeah. I don't fall into the trap that you have to work for Sony or Paramount, to be, in the business.
Well, I think that now more so than ever, we have all this social media and all these venues to put out our work. And we might not get the millions of followers or viewers, but we're getting a good amount of audience watching what we do. Yeah. And so we can share now, whereas before we couldn't. And now, to be able to share what you do it's a joy, because I think it completes the cycle of why you create. It's also to communicate one way or another, even if you're not communicating one-on-one, but it's to share part of
it's all about communication, right? Collaboration, communication.
Yes.
It's all about, it's exactly what it's about.
Exactly. And now, auditions are going to be done through this venue, callbacks also. Yeah. And so now we don't have to live. If we do, it's better. Of course, it's the best.
San Diego's only an hour and a half away or whatever. Yeah.
Yeah. You go on the train and you study your lines and you get there fresh. It's yeah.
Oh, fantastic.
Yes, Dina.
Lizet, thank you so much for coming on. I try to keep it to 30 minutes only because, viewers are lazy.
Yeah, they have a short span of attention.
They have a short span.
Yes.
I could talk to you all night, but I really appreciate, wonderful to meet you.
Wonderful to meet you.
You're inspiring, keep up, and please check in, and I'll check in as well. And if I have a bunch of people that would love to help you produce and, take some of the burden off for you, if you have any small projects in the LA area, the San Diego area. I have a lot of talented friends.
Perfect. And you as an actress, I'm sure you would be fabulous. So I just love your look.
You're just wonderful, darling.
Thank you, Dina.
Thank you. Take care.
You too.
Okay. Bye.
Bye-bye.
Bye-bye, honey. Oh my gosh, I have to turn it off. I'm so sorry.